What if the very question you've been asking your whole life and is the wrong one? What is the meaning of life? A simple sentence, a profound mystery, a question that haunts even in silence. From childhood, something gnaws at us. We see the world, we see suffering, joy, death, beauty, and we wonder, why are we here? What's the point of all this? And yet, no matter how many books we read, no matter how many gurus, philosophers, or scientists we turn to, the answer always seems just out of reach. The truth is unsettling. The more you chase life's meaning, the more it runs from you. But why? Because maybe, just maybe, this question is a maze with no exit. Maybe the moment you ask, you're already lost. This isn't a modern problem. It's an ancient ache. Socrates called for the examined life. The Buddha taught that life is suffering. Every spiritual path begins in confusion and ends in silence. This script is not here to give you an answer. It's here to burn the question down. Let's start with a lie. The world has told you that meaning is something you must earn. Through success, through service, through legacy, through love. Chase the dream, get the job, start a family, buy the house. Then, finally, you'll feel fulfilled. But you didn't. And when that didn't work, maybe you turned to religion. Maybe you heard that. Meaning comes from God or karma or destiny. That your role is to serve some higher plan. But still, and something didn't sit right. You felt like you were playing a part in someone else's story. We live in a society addicted to purpose. Purpose as productivity. Purpose as identity. Purpose as survival. But here's the twist. All of it might be a distraction. You see, the brain is wired to seek patterns. It's terrified of chaos. So it builds a story. It tells you, this is who you are. This is what matters. This is your role. But what if the story is a cage? What if all this running is just you trying to outrun your own emptiness? That ache you feel isn't failure. It's not weakness. It's a whisper. A reminder that no matter how much you fill your life with things, you're still missing you. But not all is lost. Long before modern psychology, long before consumerism and social media, there were whispers of truth, left behind like cosmic breadcrumbs. The sages of the East didn't try to define life's meaning. They tried to dissolve the illusion of separation. The Upanishad said, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that. You are not separate from the universe. You are the ocean pretending to be a drop. In the Tao Te Ching, Laozi wrote, the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. In other words, the more you try to explain life, the further you drift from it. Rumi, the Sufi mystic, said, what you seek is seeking you. But perhaps what you're really seeking is to stop seeking. These ancient teachings aren't answers. They're invitations to stop, to be, to remember. They suggest that life's meaning isn't a puzzle. It's a presence, one that arises not when you understand, but when you surrender, like the silence between notes, the stillness between breaths. You don't find meaning, you fall into it. Here is the moment everything changes. What if the reason life's meaning keeps escaping you is because the one who's asking the question isn't real? Pause. Breathe. Let that sink in. The you that seeks purpose, the ego, the identity, the thinker, is a mental construct. A collection of memories, beliefs, traumas, and thoughts. It is not the seer. It is a mask worn by the seer. Science is catching up. Neuroscience now reveals there is no single location in the brain where the self resides. Consciousness seems to arise not from identity but from awareness. The great mystics always knew this. The Advaita Vedanta sages taught neti, neti, not this, not that. You are not your body, not your thoughts, not even your soul. So if the self is an illusion, who's asking the question? Here lies the paradox. Life's meaning escapes you because you are the thing in the way. When the false self dissolves, when the seeker vanishes, meaning is no longer a destination. It becomes the very fabric of experience. Not a sentence, not an answer, a silent knowing, a presence that needs no justification. because it simply is. Now we turn the knife a little deeper. What if life has no meaning, not in the way we think, not in words, not in answers, not in neat little conclusions? Camus once wrote of Sisyphus, cursed to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity. He asked, can we imagine Sisyphus happy? The truth is, meaninglessness terrifies us. It threatens the ego. It suggests that there is no script, no plan, no cosmic reward. But what if that's not tragic? What if it's sacred? Zen teaches the concept. Mu, the void, the absence, the space before thought. It doesn't mean nothingness. It means freedom. Freedom from definitions, from dogma, from the endless loop of why. Without a fixed meaning, you are no longer a character in a story. You become the storyteller, not a victim of fate, but a co-creator of experience. And in that emptiness there is peace, because there's nothing left to chase. But if life has no fixed meaning, does that mean anything goes? No, it means everything counts. Meaning isn't found, it's made moment by moment, breath by breath, not by achievement but by attention. By how deeply you listen, how fully you show up. Meaning arises in the presence. You bring to life, to pain, to beauty, to love, to now. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, said, life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. And yet even he realized that meaning isn't universal. It's personal, sacred, and often hidden in suffering. The sacred shift is this. Life isn't asking you to find its meaning. It's asking you to live it, to make meaning, not with words, but with being. Here we are, the end of the road, or maybe the beginning. The meaning of life has never been hidden. It has only been overshadowed by your fear, your stories, your noise. You've been looking through a keyhole, waiting for someone to open the door, but the door was never locked. The question was never, what is the meaning of life? The real question is, can you bear to be fully alive, to feel without numbing, to see without labeling, to exist without needing to explain? Maybe life doesn't need to mean anything. Maybe it just needs to be met with sacred eyes and an open heart. Because when you stop escaping life, you realize it was never escaping you, and that perhaps is meaning enough. What is the meaning of life, no matter who you are or where you come from? At some point, this question finds you. Maybe it whispers to you in the dark. Maybe it screams when everything falls apart. And just when you think you found it, it disappears again like a dream you can't quite remember. You chase it through success, through relationships, through books and beliefs, but it always stays just out of reach. Why? Why does the meaning of life keep slipping through our fingers? Maybe it's not that the answer is hidden. Maybe it's that we've been looking in the wrong direction all along. Thousands of years ago, humans looked up at the stars and found stories. They saw gods in the thunder, purpose in the seasons, and meaning in every breath. Life was a part of something sacred, a divine dance, a cosmic story. In ancient Egypt, the soul journeyed through the underworld toward judgment. In Vedic texts, life was a cycle, birth, death, rebirth, leading toward liberation. In Greece, philosophers like Socrates and Plato spoke of the soul, remembering truths it once knew. Meaning wasn't something you had to create. It was already woven into the universe. You just had to remember it. But something changed. Science replaced myth. God became silent. The cosmos became cold and mechanical. Nietzsche said God is dead. The existentialists said meaning is what you make it. We gained knowledge, but lost the map. We learned how the world works but forgot why it matters. And in this new world we became wanderers, rich in data, but poor in soul, connected, but empty. So we search in a world that no longer offers answers. So we try to find meaning in careers, in relationships, in money, fame, or even spirituality. But every time we arrive, it fades. We thought getting the job would fulfill us. We thought finding the one would complete us. We thought achieving the goal would silence the ache, but the ache returns because we're chasing the horizon. We climb the ladder and realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. We've been taught to look out there, somewhere, for the answer. But what if the meaning of life isn't something you find? What if it's something you remember? The ancient mystics weren't trying to reach something new. They were trying to strip away the illusions, the false layers that hide what's already here, because the more we grasp, the more we suffer. Desire promises fulfillment but leaves us craving. The ego says, once I become this, once I have that, then I'll be complete. But the soul speaks in silence, and silence tells us, you were never incomplete to begin with.